Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of the viewers from around the world. This is your host Vaibhav. Today we are starting a bit late as there were some glitches with the streaming platform, so sorry for the delay. Now we get started for today's session of JForex indicators where we will be considering one interesting indicator. We are considering the McClellan Summation Index, which is derived using the McClellan oscillator, which I had explained to you in the session just day before yesterday. So if you have seen those sessions, you might be well familiar with the concept of this McClellan oscillator and how we can use it to define the trade entry and exit points, how we can take advantage of the market dynamics using these indicators. Now for this session, we will be looking at the derivative of that McClellan oscillator, and it simply sums up the value as its name is suggesting. It sums up the values of the McClellan oscillator over the calculation period, and using that we get the idea of the trend over the larger period of time compared to what we get using the McClellan oscillator. Now we head to the JForex 4 platform, the newly released trading platform from the Dukascopy Bank SA. Here there is the Euro USD chart defined for the hourly candle period. I will add this McClellan summation index. There are two ways to go about it. You can simply press the F3, which will get you this option of add indicator. And in this, you will find the McClellan summation index listed amongst the momentum indicators. Or if you want to do this quick search, you can better do a quick search. Simply press F4 and after that type in the name. So first I will show you where it is listed, and for that we have to go to the momentum indicator, and you will find it below the McClellan oscillator. All right, then we do a quick search. Simply type in MCCL, and you will have these three indicators developed using the similar parameters. All right, so here it comes. So this indicator gives you the trend in the context of the given instrument and how the momentum has been over the larger period of time, as it is going to sum up the values of the McClellan oscillator. It is going to be less responsive to the recent price fluctuation. So here you can notice that even though the Euro USD has been climbing upward from yesterday's session, we haven't really seen much of a change in the McClellan Summation Index output. It has tried to climb up, but not much. So we still have it in bearish phase because the prior decline was too strong to be reversed easily by the recent gains. So it is showing that the trend hasn't really changed much from the larger point of view from the longer term perspective, even though we are clearly seeing bullish signs on the shorter time horizon. So this indicator is going to give you an idea of the trend on the longer time horizon compared to what we get using the McClellan oscillator or the McClellan histogram. And this indicator is likely to show lag, but at the same time it is going to be more reliable. So here we got this reversal observed for the McClellan summation index around 20th of September, and that was somewhere here, and from that we saw substantial decline for the Euro USD, and if you had shorted it there you would have made more than 400 pips for the Euro USD decline. Now from yesterday onward it had a reversed course and it has climbed around 250 pips, but from this index point of view it is yet to show the trend change, though it is now showing that it might be the time to book for the profit if you had shorted it earlier, and for going long you might have to wait for the further confirmation if you are relying on its classical interpretation where we use zero as the deciding factor whenever we see the McClellan summation index crossing from below zero to above zero. That can also be utilized as the signaling mechanism for the trend reversal, and we can go for the trend initiation in the changed scenario. So here we had this trend change for the McClellan summation index around 1.006, and from there on it did climb around 150 pips, but after that we saw this substantial decline. But the McClellan summation index didn't show much of a reversal till it actually changed course in this consolidation phase. So after do consolidation, we got this confirmation of the reversal parameter. So I think when we are looking for the reliable trade system, this indicator should make the cut, as it is also going to consider the consolidation phase along with the sharp moves. So you will have much more stable signals being generated using these formation. All right. So now the classical interpretation, as I made you familiar, one way to go about it is to look for these crossover from one side to the other. So from bearish to bullish or from bullish to bearish, we can use it as the signaling mechanism for the initiation of the new trades. And along with that, we can also utilize it to look for divergences of sort here. We have this sharp reversal for the Euro USD's price action, but we don't really see equally sharp reversal in the output value of the McClellan oscillator. In such circumstances, we can consider trading these divergence. But if you were to go long, or if you were to simply book profits from earlier trades, that would have done the job. Or you can expect that if we don't really have any significant conversion change of direction on the McClellan oscillator, this might be the time to simply sit on the sidelines, as the underlying instrument is more likely to remain sideways rather than show any significant price reversal. So here also we are getting similar diverging pattern where the price action has started to climb substantially on the higher side, but the price index, the McClellan summation index, is yet to show the signs of reversal. So this way, it is likely to give you the signals which are going to be much more reliable, but at the same time you might miss out on the initial price action. So there are these trade-offs to consider whenever you are going to use these indicator. And as I explained to you, the concept is very simple. It simply takes into consideration the value, the output value of the McClellan oscillator for each given candle over the calculation horizon, and then using that it sums up the values, the advances, the decline, everything is into taken into consideration. All right, now we see the editing option here. We can go for different applied prices depending on which we will have slightly varying output for the McClellan summation index. Here, pay attention to the output of the summation index. All right, median price, typical price, weighted close price, everything is different here. All right. Then we can also make changes to this calculation period. The short MA period and the long MA period can also be varied if you want the indicator to become more responsive to the recent price changes. Then of course you have to shorten these calculation periods, and depending on that you will have the indicator giving you the different output. Now I am using 10 and 20 as the combination for short and the long term calculation of the moving averages, and as a result of that we are observing that this output has become a lot more responsive to what it was earlier. Now we are seeing reversal taking place, and it is showing the signs of this reversal from bearish to bullish on the hourly chart for Euro USD after this substantial up move. All right, so this is the way we can utilize these indicator. Now we head back to the editing options again. So here we get this option to choose the moving average as well. The EMA is going to be a lot more responsive compared to the SMA. If you opt for the SMA, then the SMA is going to show some lag. EMA takes into the recent price moves and gives more weightage to that. And as a result of that, if there is a strong fluctuation in the opposite direction, we will have the EMA responding much faster compared to the SMA. SMA is going to give equal weightage to all the candle periods in the current calculation period. All right. The MA type, SMA, EMA, WMA, we can vary these moving averages, and depending on which kind of moving average you are using, you will be having variations in the output value of these indicator, the DMA, the TMA. TMS chart looks quite interesting, triple exponential moving average, and it is a lot more responsive. So we are seeing these fluctuations on the output value. We are seeing frequent changes. It has become a lot more responsive, even though the calculation periods are similar to what we were using when we were looking at the moving average of EMA and the SMA. So here, TMA, it has shown the reversal in today's session, and even in yesterday's session we had this reversal, and then earlier in the day we had reversal again on the bearish side. So it is going to have low lag and it is going to become much more responsive, but at the same time these kind of signals are likely to prove loss making when the underlying instrument doesn't really go anywhere and it simply remains in a narrow range moving sideways. And in that kind of scenario, these frequent signals generated are likely to result in loss. So you have to always be aware of this trade-off between fast response and the reliability. So as is the case with many other indicators, this is the trade-off you will have to work out for these indicator also, and then find best possible combination for the purpose of getting the profitable higher probability signal generated using this indicator. So we try out all these different types of moving averages. T3, we will have a lot more smoothing when we use T3 as our preferred moving average for the purpose of calculation of this indicator. Now we have further options down the list. We can go for HMA, LWMA, SMMA. All these options are there, and it will vary. The output value is going to vary depending on what kind of moving average you are using. Alright, so now I restore it back to the default, and here there is the input parameters, the short MA period and the long MA period is also being restored back to the default setup as per the developer's choice. But you can always tinker with these parameters and look for the ways which will get you the best idea of the market dynamics and give you profitable higher probability trade signals. Alright, now coming to the output, you can play around with colors as well. You can go for the customization of this output. If you like to make it all white and black and white, you can do that as well. So now I have changed the color. If you want to customize it further, you can go for the custom color combination as well. Alright. So we can opt for different color combination when the trend is up and when the trend is down. So you get a clearer idea. It becomes easier on the eyes as well to read the trend reversal. So we have opted for two different color combinations for these indicators output. All right. Now coming to the level, this is the deciding factor. Generally the value is set at 0 as that will signal the reversal, but if you are not really happy with the 0 as the marker, you can vary this level also, but I would suggest that sticking with 0 is not really a bad idea, so probably we should keep it as it is. Then you can opt for color combination here for this zero line. Now we move a step further and go to the advanced editing option. If you want the output of the given candle period or the current candle period to remain constant throughout the current candle period, then you have to opt in for this. So whatever is the value generated at the start of the current candle, it will remain fixed throughout the current candle period, and the new value will come into play only when we see new candle formation in the next hour, as the chart is hourly. So this output value will remain fixed throughout the current candle period. All right. If you want the time period to be highlighted, you can opt in for this, and whatever is your calculation period, that will be highlighted here. Now let's do what we can with the further customization options provided to us. The instrument can be anything from the chart. If you change the chart to say USD JPY, or for that matter any other instrument, the plotting for the indicator will be done for that instrument as per that instrument's values, and it will apply for any other instrument. But if you specify that the calculation output should be for Euro USD only, then in that scenario, it will be done only for Euro USD and not for other instruments. The same logic applies for the use of candle period. If you use it from the chart, so whatever is the chart's candle period, the calculation will be done accordingly. But if you specify the value for the any of the input parameters, say for example 15 minutes, then regardless of what is the chart's candle period, we will have the output defined using the 15 minutes as the candle period for the calculation of these indicator. So here these output values are being defined using 15-minute candles instead of these hourly candles. If you want the values to be displayed at the shorter periods also, then you get these four options when the candle period is lower for the purpose of calculation compared to the chart. So you have to define these when the new values to be displayed. For that you get these four options here. The spread side can be asked or bit. There is going to be slight difference in the output, but broadly it will be on the similar trajectory. The base period can be 4 hours or any of these four options, none, 4 hours day. There is going to be change in the output value depending on what is your base period, as this is the summation index. So that will be the base for which the calculation will be done. So you have to be careful for this indicator in particular. Otherwise, for most other indicators, the base period doesn't really matter. But this being summation index, you have to be careful with this option as well. All right. If you want the indicator to be available on all the candle periods whenever you change the chart candle period, you have to opt in for this, or else you have to specify on which candle period these indicators should be available, and only on those candle periods this indicator will be available. So suppose for example if we specify hourly and 5 minutes, then only on hourly and 5 minutes we will have this output of the McClellan summation index. But for example if we take it to half an hourly, then there is not going to be any plotting of the McClellan summation index for the half an hour. But if I change it back again to hourly, or if I go to 5 minutes, we will have this indicator plotted back again. So this is one interesting feature where we can customize the different indicators for different candle periods, and that way we can read more into the data and make informed trading decisions. Now I will revert it back to show indicator on all the periods. All right. So guys, that's it from my side for today's session of these JForex indicators explained. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write back to me in the feedback section and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. For further coverage of the market developments, do check out the Dukascopy Analytics page, for which I have included the link in the bio. Along with that, the link for Facebook community, and also this JForex core platform has also been included. So do check it out, and let me know if it is working or not, if you can take advantage of these info provided to you. So thank you all for joining in. Right away after this session, we have one technical session coming up as well. So stay tuned. I'll be back tomorrow with new indicator, new explanations, new users. So do come back. Goodbye.